Hello, welcome back to the Apocalypse. My name is Vormithrax, and this is episode number 124 of our Let's Play tutorial for Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. And I have skipped forward in time. So I reviewed the last couple of episodes, and we've spent two or three episodes now putting together the vehicle, our RV. I think I had gotten far enough into the process that everybody watching has got a good idea of how that process works now and kind of the materials that are necessary, the skills, the tools, and so on. So I went ahead and just jumped forward off camera and pretty much finished it up for the most part. I may fiddle with it here and there. But it took quite a long time to do, and I wasn't really doing anything that you guys hadn't seen a bunch of already. So I redesigned it very slightly, and I'm going to show you the finished vehicle and kind of go over exactly how it's built and what it's got included and why I included it and so on. So I think that'll be a little more interesting and a little less time consuming than you guys watching me for another 4 episodes just replacing frames and welding on parts and so on. Like I said, I think I've covered the basics of how to get things put together. So I will mention a few things that I had to do in addition. But I had to go get a bunch of more just parts and raw materials to get it completely finished up. There were still a few things I was a bit short on. But all in all, I'm pretty happy. I'm not 100% certain just how well it's going to operate till we get it out in the field and just see what it's capable of. So I'm looking forward to doing that. But let's kind of take a look. Alright, so this is the exterior. Oh, daytime's coming up. I'm going to go ahead and let the daylight roll here. Alright, so there's the front of our vehicle. These are the shredders. Never used one before. I'm looking forward to see how it works. Other than that, got some damage over here maybe. Oh, floodlight got broken. Alright, need a floodlight for that spot. Alright, so that's what it looks like. I got the 200-liter containers on the back end. And let's take a look at the design itself. Alright, that is it right there in its full glory. So the shredders at the top, and I'll go ahead and show as I go through it here. So we got 5 shredders. And we've got just heavy-duty frames with military composite armor plating. So composite armor plating right across that. So that'll give 2 full rows of protection. The next row in, again, heavy-duty frame with more composite armor. Then I've got security cameras on each corner, headlights on each corner. And other than that, it's just heavy-duty board with the heavy-duty frame and the composite armor. So again, another full layer of really heavy-duty protection. So I might lose some security cameras here and there, or some headlights, if it manages to penetrate all the way in. But I'll just keep stopping and grabbing spares of those 2 things so I can get them swapped out as necessary. And then I've got a floodlight facing forward this way as well. Alright, next row in. This is where things get a little more interesting. So I've got armored wheels, 32-inch armored wheels to go with the opaque door, so you cannot see out this door. And you notice there's no windshield. I have no way to see out of this thing. But in this space here, the driver's seat, we've got the composite armor, the camera control system, clock, stereo, seatbelt controls, and the reclining seat. So the things of note are the camera control system. So when I flip the cameras on, I've got cameras pointing pretty much every direction out of this vehicle. And I can see at 360 degrees around me. As long as I'm in the driver's seat. So if I'm not in the driver's seat, I won't be able to see out and around, but I don't think that'll be a problem so much, so I'm not too worried about it. I'd rather have it all nice and sealed up. There's some interesting things you can do with this kind of an arrangement. Next over, we got the diesel engine, the swappable battery, the solar array, and main engine systems. Oops, I think I've got 2 stereos in this thing now. Looks like it. Let's take out this stereo here. Alright, so heavy-duty frame, composite armor, the other seat for the NPC, and another swappable storage battery, the solar array and solar array, and I skipped over the middle thing. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Another heavy-duty frame, security camera, kitchen buddy. So I removed the chemistry station and there was one other thing. Oh, the refrigerator, the mini fridge. The chemistry station, somebody pointed out that it really only benefits you if you don't have a kitchen unit already. because it just provides cooking and boiling properties and such. So as long as I have a pot and a chemistry set in the vehicle, I can get all the same statistics and abilities. So I took those two things out, and that freed up some space in the back. That's why I shoved things around a bit. So we got the UPS recharge station with the forge, and we've got the welding rig right here. Then on the other side, we've got the kitchen buddy, as well as the kitchen unit, and more storage batteries. Alright, then we've got mini reactor and mini reactor, as well as a turret. The mounted M2 Browning turret, right in the smack in the middle of the vehicle on the roof. And this is on a mounted turret. You have to build a turret chassis, and then you mount, there's a mounted M2 Browning option that you can put into that chassis location. That's what you have to do in order to get automated turret type setups, I believe. And then we've just got crap loads of cargo space, as well as yet another turret. I put an M249 turret towards the back of the vehicle as well. And the very back, we've just got more cameras, more floodlights, and so on. And I put a ton of armored wheels in this thing. I think I've got 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 12. I've got 12 32-inch wheels on this thing. And that is to try to improve our off-road percentages, because the vehicle is so heavy and bulky. That off-road number was really low, so I threw on as many other 32-inch wheels as I had to bump that up. Then on the back end, we've got the 2 tanks. That's pretty much it. So the one thing I didn't mention was this one right here, turbo laser turret. So again, I put the turret chassis in and attached the turbo laser turret to it. And the turbo laser turret we were able to build out of a bunch of higher end electrical parts that we've already had gotten big piles of, as well as the fusion arm CBM. We'd found a compact bionic module that was a fusion arm CBM, and I didn't think I would ever actually get it installed and used on the character, and I saw that it could be turned into a turret, so I threw the turbo laser turret onto the vehicle. Alright, and from what I know, that thing actually fires a huge blast of energy, does damage, and I believe an explosion as well. So I got to be careful not to fire that thing off at anything close to the vehicle. So I need to test that out and see just how much range and how dangerous it is. These two are just standard gunfire turrets, so I've got ammo for both of these sitting in the spaces below them, and the laser turret just runs off the electricity in the vehicle. So looking at the engine setup over here, you can see we've got the electric motor that we can run the engine off of if we want to run off of electricity. I'm curious to see with 8 fully charged swappable storage batteries just how long I might be able to drive something this big and heavy. I mean, the thing's 26,000 pounds, so it's a tank essentially. So I'm not sure just how much energy it will drain trying to drive it off of the batteries. So that's another thing we're going to test and just see what we can do. But we've also got the diesel engine. I've got 2 smaller vehicle tanks and then the 2 huge exterior tanks. 8 batteries. We've got 2 mini reactors installed. That's probably 1 too many, but I had an extra, so I just went ahead and threw it in there. I've got some plutonium cells loaded in, so if we run short of storage battery and I need an immediate boost, I can flip on the mini reactor and it very quickly charges the batteries back up. And then we've got the turrets, the 249, the M2 Browning, and the turbo laser turret. So, this thing is ridiculously overbuilt. Absolutely no reason for you and your games to wait as long as I did to put something together, and also no reason to build something this crazy, heavy, and big. Hopefully you've figured out and learned from watching the previous episodes some of the things you can do earlier in the game to try to trick out your ride, to give it some usability, give it some tools, armor, weapons, protection, and so on, and then just kind of expand as you go. Everybody has different play styles and temperaments in their gameplay, so some people don't like vehicles at all, others like this kind of Super Mondo Fortress vehicle. You can make a trike, you can make all sorts of crazy cool things, so just use the same basic patterns and equipment and tools to put them together, and you can build them from scratch. There's no need necessarily to take an existing vehicle and modify it. You can actually just start from nothing. As long as you've got the frames and the raw materials and so on, you can actually put it together from scratch and build out your own kind of vehicle. So I think that's it for describing that. So safe speed, top speed, I don't really care. Acceleration is going to be pretty slow, 15 miles per hour per turn, per tick. I'm not sure how that works, but that's another thing we're going to test, see just how slow it is to get up to speed. Super heavy. Good condition. I just need to repair or replace that floodlight. And then otherwise, I don't really know what some of these numbers mean effectively, so I don't know if some things are good or bad, higher or lower. I'm not going to worry too much. We're just going to put it in action and see how it works. I did fill up one of these 60-liter tanks with clean water, and I scrounged all the local diesel from our base here. Some we had in our exploration vehicle, and I had some in one of the tanks. So I got 80 liters of diesel available to kind of test, but we're definitely going to need to go on a run to get some more diesel gas. We never really picked up a bunch while we were tooling around earlier because I wasn't sure when I was going to start using the diesel. But now we can go hit a few of the local gas stations and pull the diesel out of the pumps, as well as any vehicles, especially tanks and heavy trucks that we find. So we're going to do that before we do too much movement in this thing, but I think the 80 liters will give us enough to do some test driving. That's pretty much it. So that is my Super Mondo base. Let's hop inside, kind of take a look around. So you'll notice I cannot see outside at any point. It's completely sealed. I'm not sure why I've got light inside, though. I've got a roof over all the spaces. I don't know if you have to also put a roof over these spaces. That's something I may need to test, because it may be that light's coming in from these not being roofed over. So I may test that at some point, but for the moment I don't care. I can just throw a blindfold on if I'm trying to sleep during the day in my reclining seat. So you notice when I jumped into the seat, all of a sudden I could see every direction. That's because I have the camera system turned on right now. So with the cameras on, I can see 360 degrees around the vehicle. Awesome. I can also activate the vehicle. I've got a whole bunch of things I can do. I can turn the reactor off and on. That's the mini reactor for the nuclear power. I've got multiple headlights set up in the front of the vehicle pointing different directions. So I've got a good spread of light out the front. Overhead lights are the floodlights, so if it's night out and I'm parked in my vehicle and I just want to light up the local area, I can flip on the floodlights and then turn the cameras on to see if there's anything in the area. Aisle lights, I left this as aisles with aisle lights instead of storage spaces for now. I may switch them to storage if it becomes an issue, but I've got 15 cargo carriers back here, plus all of these stow boards along the outside edges, so I think I probably have enough storage spaces. We'll find out when we start moving things around. The good news is, now that I've pretty much finished this vehicle, I'm not going to need to be carrying around, I'm not going to be stockpiling massive amounts of raw materials from here forward, because I've pretty much got all the heavy materials I need. I'll just carry along enough for repairs on the fly and spare parts for things that might get broken as I drive around. But we're not going to be trying to load this thing up with 400 steel frames and 5,000 chunks of iron and things like that. So that will hopefully be behind us. I'll just be loading it up with the tools and weapons and gear and so on, and leaving a lot of the raw materials behind. We can always scrounge for random raw materials just about anywhere we go pretty quickly now, so I won't need to carry all that stuff with me all the time. Dome lights are over the seat, stereo's obvious, the rechargers for the UPS recharging station, water purifier, the cruise control. Let's go ahead and make sure we've got remember the vehicle condition or location turned on. Alright, then we can turn the individual engines off and on, and then we've got different options for the turrets. Set the targeting modes, the firing modes, aiming and firing them manually, automatic, and so on. And then I can turn off and on the camera system. So that's camera off, that's camera on. And the only place I can see that, unless I install another camera system somewhere, is from the driver's seat. No, stop doing any movement. Gotta be careful not to accidentally move this thing while I'm right next to all these big buildings and vehicles. Alright, so let's go ahead and stop driving. And so you can basically see what's going on. The two squares with pluses are just the ammo for the turrets that are above them. But we got 15 spaces of cargo spaces. Each one can carry 250 units, 250 liters, and then the stow boards on the outside can hold 62.5, and I've got stow boards running up and down all sides of the vehicle, except for the very back, or the corners, I mean. So pretty much anywhere I can stow things. I may decide to stow things on the exterior, like the jerry cans and rubber hoses and things I might need to grab while I'm out and about, so I don't have to jump into the vehicle to grab them. So getting things organized and how I'm going to travel and where I'm going to put things is going to be a bit of an adventure, and I'm not sure I'm going to show that on camera or not, because it'll probably be pretty slow and boring just watching me move into inventory items around. But it'll be things like food items here next to the kitchen, raw materials to craft probably in the middle areas, and then, I don't know, stuff I need quick access to from the back I'll put over in this end. And I may leave these back 3 open, so when I come back from a loot run I just have spaces to dump into, and then I can sort them out afterwards. So a lot of possibilities, but I left these right here for now as just an aisleway with aisle lights. That way I can turn the aisle lights on without having to stand here or sit here in the seat with a dome light, and I don't have to turn on any other lighting system. They don't use a lot of energy. Alright, well, that was 15 minutes just to talk about the vehicle, so let's talk about a few other things. In order to get it built, I did have to actually build one other thing, and it's down here. It's right here. I had to build a boom crane. So at a certain point, the vehicle got so heavy I couldn't lift it with the bottle jack anymore, and I had to put together a boom crane in order to build it. And it's just a frame. I think it's a steel frame, and then you have to build a boom crane item. And you just start the vehicle construction with the steel frame, then next to it, in any space adjacent to it, you can then install the boom crane. And that gives you the ability to lift much heavier items, or vehicles. And so I had to do that in order to lift this thing, to be able to put on the last of the heavy wheels, or the armored wheels, and so on. That was really the only tool that I was missing to get things put together. I had to go get some more heavy frames and steel frames and so on, but those I just built out of raw materials. It was much easier to do that than it was to tear apart cars and so on. So I just went to the power station, grabbed a bunch more raw materials, and brought them back and got everything crafted up. So it took a while, but the entire vehicle is now made out of heavy frames. The entire exterior of the vehicle has got military composite armor plating. Gee, can I composite? I'm actually curious. I don't think it'll let me put anything on these tanks. Install. Nope, can't install anything. Alright. I was hoping I could composite armor those tanks, but nope. But the entire exterior of the vehicle has also got military composite armor plating. So between the heavy-duty frame and the composite armor plating, hopefully that will prevent anything from coming in. I may lose floodlights to damage in those locations, but the rest of it's pretty solid on the exteriors. And I'm not sure how much damage these shredders are going to take, so we'll see about that. I may end up having to build some more of those as well. That's really it, tool-wise, for getting that done. So I got that built. Didn't do any modifications to our vehicle here. I started to load some things up for our gas run that we're going to do here in a bit. This NPC I tried to get some skills from, but he wasn't being very useful. He refused me like 3 times in a row, and I just stopped talking to him because he really doesn't have anything left that I want to talk to about. Alright, the other thing is right here. So I haven't made an exhaustive search through the weapons pile and the cool stuff pile. We brought back so much stuff after the last half dozen episodes or so with the various trips we've made out and about that we got a mind-boggling amount of stuff in these piles. Some things I wanted to get done, though, so I made up some throwing knives. I'm real happy with throwing knives in my Broken Cyborg playthrough, so I built a few to use on this guy. That's a silent killer. I can just toss these out to soften up targets as they come towards me, and then stab them to death with the spear if they manage to get all the way to me. So I'm really enthused about the throwing knives, and I'm actually looking forward to installing a CBM, the Railgun CBM. EM field generators in your arms double the range and damage of thrown iron and steel objects at a cost of 1 power per throw, causing them to leave a trail of electricity that can cause additional damage. So, once I get to the point where I want to do a installation of CBMs, I'm really looking forward to putting that Railgun CBM in, and then seeing how much damage I do with these throwing knives. I've decided I'm not going to do these right now. I still want to get into a lab or something to get a bigger selection of CBMs before I risk putting any of these in. The reason I'm hesitating is because I've got an addictive personality, and I've got issues with having enough hard narcotics in my system to be able to install those, and I'll go into I'll get addicted and go into withdrawal and have to go through that whole process. So I'd rather avoid that for now. I just don't have enough of the various CBMs that I want to go ahead and do it. There's some cool ones here, but I want even more selection before we do that. Alright, back to the list. Then we've got the battle rifle. That's the one we picked up from the Elite Grenadier. So we had gotten this one and one other weapon that had the ammo. So I swapped the magazines. So the battle rifle now has the 250 charge magazine. And then I pulled the magazine from the other one. So I've got 250 shots in the battle rifle with a spare magazine with 100 rounds. So 350 rounds ready to go. But I want to repair this with this Firearm Repair Kit. Then I'm going to put some various mods on it. So we're going to mod this thing up and try to make it as cool and deadly as possible. So to do that, let's go ahead and grab the battle rifle, grab the repair kit, and we're going to apply the repair kit to the battle rifle. And that repaired it 1 point. It looks like we might get it up to full by the time this Firearm Repair Kit runs out of charges. So apply again. Alright, now it's up to full strength. Can I? Oh, we accurized it. Cool. Alright, so we emptied out the Firearm Repair Kit, but I think it was well worth it. Now we have an accurized RM88 battle rifle. So now, let's go ahead and grab some mods for it. So I know I'm going to put a shoulder strap on it. I'm just going to grab all the mods. And we'll see which of these look like they'll work the best. So we're definitely going to put a shoulder strap on it. That way we can wear it over our shoulder. Next, let's try... We'll put a laser sight on it. Give it a forward... No, laser sight can't go with the forward grip, so it's one or the other, and I think I'd rather have the laser sight than the forward grip. How about an ergonomic grip? Yep, we can do the ergo grip. Adjustable stock, we can do. And can we suppress it? We cannot. Doesn't have a slot for a suppressor. Alright, I'm fine with that. That's not really a let's be quiet weapon. Alright, look at that. Plus plus, meaning it's accurized. Which is the same thing as the steel spear when you reinforce it, essentially. But it's for guns. So it gives the plus plus symbol. And then we've got mod, 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 mod. So if we look at the stats on this thing, I didn't really record the info, but whoops. So the max range is useless. You can't hit anywhere remotely out that far, no matter what your kind of character and what kind of weapon and stats you have. But range or firing at that range is essentially broken in the game. But for lower than that, we should be good. Damage is 54 with 18 armor piercing, which is awesome. It's got both semi-auto and auto fire mode, so I can do a single shot or I can do a burst of 10, which is great. Shows what mods we've got installed, the encumbrance, and there's the mod list down below. So shoulder strap, underbarrel laser sight, and so on. So it notes here the advantages. So ergonomic grip, ergonomic replacement furniture for a firearm, improving handling and accuracy, adjustable stock, improving recoil and accuracy. Whoops. Yep. Get back up here. Underbarrel laser sight. Enhances ease and speed of target acquisition, so you don't have to aim as much before you get to full aiming and can shoot. Gives a little bit of increased weight, but that's fine. So, I think that is well tricked out. So I'm going to drop this M1. That's no longer going to be needed. We're going to wear the battle rifle. We're going to pick up the throwing knife and the spare gun or spare ammo. And let's go ahead and fold up cart C. Oops. Grab cart C. Alright, let's drop the spare ammo in there. Drop the throwing, or nope, we're going to keep the throwing knives on us. Drop cart C in there though. Alright, and let's drop off the rest of this stuff. Don't need those. Drop off the repair kits. Actually, what's it take to reload that repair kit? Oh, just batteries? Really? Portable toolkit made to repair damaged firearms, powered by standard batteries. Oh, awesome! Alright, I didn't realize it just ran off batteries. I thought it had some other materials or something. So, reload. There it goes, back up to full. Good to know. Haven't used one of those in a long time. Forgot how they worked. I might keep... we'll drop it off for now. Later I might keep that somewhere handy so we can grab it real fast. Okay. So we're just about to the end of the normal episode length. But I think it was worth it for the amount of time saved. Because it would have taken me, if I had you guys watching... This process to get this thing finished up would have probably taken another 3 episodes at least, with the amount of time I had to take to sleep and eat and run around getting materials and so on. It wasn't very interesting. I covered pretty much everything early on, so hopefully you don't mind that I fast forwarded through all that. I think I got enough instructional part of it done in the first few episodes out of the last couple to kind of give everybody an idea of how the process works and all that. So I think what we're going to do next episode is hop in our travel vehicle and we're going to tour around and look for some diesel, and I think really that's it. If we happen across any more solar panels, I'll keep collecting solar panels. Eventually I would like to get those solar arrays swapped out to upgraded panels and arrays, but we'll go with what we've got. We'll see just how much energy they generate and what our energy usage is. I mean, if the 3 we've got on there bring in more energy than I can ever use, then there's really no point in upgrading them anyway. So we'll kind of got to see just what our usage is before I make any decisions in that regard. But I want to get a good amount of diesel put together. I might want to do one more food run somewhere just to make sure we're well and truly stocked up for our trip south. The only other thing I want to do to get ready for this trip south beyond that is to put together a foldable bicycle. That way I can run the scout vehicle down a ways just to make sure the path is clear, then unload the bike, ride the bike back to the base, and stick the bike into the RV, then drive the RV down to meet up with the first vehicle, and basically just kind of daisy chain hop my way down to our new home. And I'll just use the bicycle to travel between the 2 vehicles, because I need both of them in the new home. Because you definitely can't tool around a dangerous area in this thing. Or I mean, you can't tool around in a dangerous new area in this thing. It's going to be too bulky, too wheeled, too hard to kind of maneuver. So I definitely want to be doing that in this. So I need both vehicles, and I'm going to try to keep both of them available to me. But between those 2 and the bike, I think that'll pretty much make us all set. So it'll probably, next episode will be a gas run and incidental items. Then I'm not sure if the episode after that will be us or me loading up the vehicle and getting ready to go south. And like I said, I'll probably do the loading process off camera so you guys don't have to watch me try to shift all this massive inventory around. If I come across any cool items or things I want to build, I'll set them aside just like I did here with the gun, and show on camera what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and why I think it's a good idea and all that kind of stuff. But other than that, we'll just do some tear down, grab whatever other materials we might want, and get out of here. I'm looking forward to heading south and get to our new home so we can start doing some more interesting stuff. So I'm going to call this episode to a close right here, and next episode we will get moving again. Get out of this base area finally. So hope you're enjoying the series and found the last few educational, if not entertaining directly. Not a lot of excitement, but hopefully and necessarily something I wanted to make sure I got a good explanatory teaching session of, with the building a vehicle and kind of getting it tricked out in the mid-game. So hope you guys found it helpful. As always, please hit the like, comment, subscribe options. Let me know what you think in the comments below, or feel free to visit me on my Discord channel and we can chat about this game or any other game covered on the channel. So look forward to seeing you in the future. Have a great day. Bye-bye.